To many of us, we have tons of our favorite characters that we like, can't help but respect, and also downright love more than deep down. But what if there are characters that you just can't, that you have so much of a spiritual connection with, that you can relate to and understand them more than anyone else, even in real life? And the same also goes for me as well. Hey guys, Leon Mookie here, and today I'm going to be doing the top 5 characters I can relate to on a spiritual level. These are the 5 characters from anime and gaming that I have so much respect for that I just can't help but see myself in them, all like 100% of the time. So yeah, I hope you guys can enjoy this list. If you guys have characters that you can relate to and understand deep down, tell me down in the comments below. I would love to read them and see what you guys have to say. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we guys? Also, I will be going into spoilers for each game and anime of the characters I talk about. So if you guys haven't seen this anime or played this game, then you might want to X out of it and probably check it out later. So, let's get into this, shall we guys? Number 5. Luger Will Kresnik from Tales of Xillia 2. Luger has to be the first true silent protagonist in the Tales of franchise. Besides just having multiple weapon types and different types of fighting styles, he's also one of the most, likable too. From being a character who wanted to be admired and also wanted to be just like his older brother, being forced into a huge amount of debt by trying to save a little girl's life, and also going to parallel dimensions, wiping them out to save his own. Let's also bring up the fact that he also lost his love interest in the halfway point of the game as well. So it almost feels like you're playing Final Fantasy VII in a way. Just letting you guys know. So yeah, Luger basically goes through living hell constantly over and over and over again. But even so, he doesn't let that bother him. He keeps moving forward. He keeps pushing through. And no matter how much despair and shit he goes through, he still keeps moving forward, especially for his daughter. And that's what I love about Luger. For somebody who feels like his life is nothing but an endless spiral of bad luck and mishaps throughout his entire life, I can't help but relate to Luger. Even with all that happening, I always keep moving forward, keep going on, no matter what I had to go through. You can still find a smile at the good things, just like Luger. Number 4. Hachiman Hikigaya from My Teenage Romantic Comedy. And this guy is kind of your typical, you would say your typical edgelord protagonist in a romantic comedy. Even though he kind of makes, essays about the believing that bonds are basically useless, being friends with people is meaningless, and also telling that the teenage youth years of our life are basically pointless and nothing but suffering. Even though he's kind of right, it's still pretty what you would see in an edgelord. However, he's actually one of the most kind-hearted and selfless person that you could ever see in your life. Originally, throughout his entire life, he was always treated like he didn't even exist, like his life didn't matter. From trying to make friends with people, to also being rejected by girls he liked, to even on his first day in high school, where he was actually hoping to make a new start for himself, he actually broke his leg, basically missing an entire month of his first day as a freshman in high school, causing people to already have friends and forming relationships. For him, he's basically considered to be the main loner of the entire series. All the way to his second year in high school, he basically became nothing but a person that self-sacrifices himself for other people. Like, for example, he plays the villain constantly, always, feeling like everyone else can feel bad for somebody else or not get hurt. Hey, let him step in, basically trashing somebody or basically hurting himself with a fake confession, getting his heart broken, and everything else in the process. Due to this, he never saw himself as his life having any value whatsoever. Most people don't even take him serious when he tries to be. So I can't help but actually relate to him so deeply, feeling like my life was meaningless and pointless. So it didn't matter what I done or did with people. So why not just sacrifice myself for the good of others if it means I have some validation of my life? Even if it means I'm treated like the villain or treated like a bad guy in some people's eyes. Better than just being, well, unnoticeable at all. But still, the show does do a lot with trying to build relationships and bonds, where to the point he actually grows to have them with two girls who end up falling for him and nearing the end of the second season and the beginning of the third season, which has now come out if you guys want to check them out. But all in all, Hachiman is a great and amazing protagonist, especially speaking on all those who felt like loners, such as myself. Number 3, Izuku Midoriya from My Hero Academia. Now we're getting into my channel mascot. So yeah, Izuku Midoriya, aka Deku, a kid who dreamt of wanting to become a hero, just like his idol, the number one hero of Japan, All Might, wanting to save people with a smile on his face like him, but finding out that he's quirkless. Due to this, basically being bullied in a world where people have superhuman abilities called quirks, and the 20% being him, unfortunately, are not born with quirks. Due to this, bullied and constantly told to give up on his dream, telling him that it's not realistic, that it's not possible to have a dream like that. However, despite it all, he was able to finally strive to become a hero, just like his idol, of course. So, mostly due to All Might believing in him, telling him he can become a hero, that he can become what he always tried to be. And again, I love Izuku Midoriya because as somebody who was kind of like going through bullying himself and basically just saw as lower than other people, I just can't help but relate to Izuku, with people telling me to just give up and just deal with it, bear with it, no matter what, with soon finally just standing up for myself and trying to strive for what I want. Originally, I wasn't a big fan of My Hero Academia. I was still a huge Naruto fan, and I just saw My Hero Academia as your typical anime that wasn't going to get a season 2 or just was trying to be like your typical shonen anime. But as season 2 progressed and me reading the manga, Izuku Midoriya was so much like me, I can't help but actually love the guy. And the reason why I love making what ifs about him as well, and how much he can change depending on different circumstances that happen in his life. So yeah, that's why I love Izuku Midoriya. He gives it 100%, even though he's behind so many other people with amazing quirks, and even willing to sacrifice himself to protect those who are in need, saving them just like any other hero would. Either it be physically or emotionally, Izuku cares only about protecting people and saving them, even from themselves. It's that reason why Izuku Midoriya, aka Deku, will become the world's greatest hero. Number 2, Rin Sworzer from the Trails of Cold Steel saga. Reen has to be one of my all-time favorite protagonists in gaming. Not because of him being like a swordsman or him being a 100% deep character. I like Reen because he's a character that I needed in a really scary time in my life. But first, let's go down his origin story. Reen Sworzer transferred to Thor's military academy, where he begins being part of Class 7, an experimental class of the military academy, where he went on basically jobs and also trips all across his country, where he began experiencing not going against terrorists, supernatural events, and many other crazy stuff that happens all over the country. And that's only in the first game. In the second game, he basically, is in the middle of a civil war in his country and having to get back his classmates, and also trying to keep the war from escalating to a dangerous level lasting for a long ass time at that as well. Plus, he also begins uncovering secrets behind the scenes of his country's history. Not only that, let's also bring up in the third game, where the events of the first and second game begin coming full circle in there, where also the events of other games throughout the series begin coming too, where Reen is now a teacher and is forced to take on special missions after ending the Civil War in the second game. But he also became a teacher, training the new generation of Class 7 and showing them the ideas and the spirits of Thor's. There's also the fourth game, which is a lot more darker and reaches a certain point in Reen's life where he just can't take it much more anymore after a certain tragedy in the third game. The reason I love Reen is because I played Trails of Cold Steel in a time where I really needed a protagonist like Reen in my life right now. I love Reen's character growth. He grows from a character who is raised by nobles, even though he has no noble birth in his blood whatsoever. Not only that, he grows to be a character that believes he's not worthy of having awesome friends that are in Class 7. Plus, he doesn't know what he actually wanted for his life through the first and second game. And he's just going with the flow, just trying to repay the debts to the people that have been there for his life. His adopted parents, his friends, his teachers, all of them. But through the experiences, Reen grows to become quite the amazing leader and protagonist throughout the game. Besides just seeing like your perfect leader that inspires all and has a harem for some reason, he's more than that. He's a character that's always there for the people that need him the most, even though he feels like he doesn't deserve their kindness and doesn't deserve their respect and love. It's that very reason why I love Reen. During this time, I was going through high school and my senior year. I didn't know what I truly wanted for my life. I mean, I had a goal, but I didn't know how I was going to make it there. And playing Trails of Cold Steel and seeing all the other characters, especially Reen's story, unfold throughout the game, made me feel like I wasn't alone. I felt like I was going through some of the things that Reen was, unable to know what he wants in life. It's that exact reason why Reen is one of my all-time favorite protagonists in gaming. However, there's one person that beats him out of all the characters I have a spiritual connection with. And here he comes. Number 1, Legoshi from Beastars. And I know some of you may be wondering, what the hell? You're choosing Legoshi from Beastars? Saying, well, yeah, I am. And let me explain, guys. I know Beastar, to some people, you want to think, Does watching Beastars make me a furry? And I'm just saying, no, it doesn't make you a damn furry. So you can actually drop that shit. I love Beastars because it's basically what would happen if, well, animals were having the same setting as everyone else in the world. You would face discrimination, prejudice, and all that. And also racism and other things that you would see in our world, but onto the level of animals. And you can't get any better than Legoshi. Legoshi is basically a gray wolf, a species of wolves who are known to eat meat, which makes him a carnivore. But Legoshi doesn't really act like a carnivore. He's not as ruthless and not as, well, predatory as you would see for any carnivoric animals in the show or any other characters in the show. As for Legoshi, he's pretty kind-hearted, nice, caring, and a pretty sweet-on guy. He's completely harmless and he hates violence more than anything. Not only that, he goes through most of the show and manga depressed and is completely antisocial as well. Basically, most likely due to him holding back his animalistic nature. Not only that, he also goes through the show falling in love with a white rabbit known as Haru, who's basically a third year, where Legoshi's a second year. And not only that, their relationship grows from just being acquaintances to friends to actually falling for one another. If Haru is hurt in any other way, Legoshi would basically go berserk and beast mode on the person that hurts the girl he loves, no matter, and would do whatever it takes to protect and be there for her, no matter what. Sure, their relationship is kind of, well, unheard of and basically is kind of like down in their society, but you can't help but just love how they try to make it work, no matter what. And it's the reason why I love Legoshi, and the reason why I have a strong spiritual connection with him out of all the other characters I talked about is because I can relate. Every action that Legoshi does in Beastars is similar on how I was acted back in high school and middle school, when I basically suffered through depression, where I went against my nature. Even though I'm African American, I acted more like a nerdy closet weeb and everything. And plus, when I found my girlfriend, when I found my beloved white fox, my heaven, she was everything to me. Originally, my mom was against me being with her, but over time, she warmed up to her. My grandparents loved her, but many other people in my family didn't like the fact I was with her. But even after all of that, we are still together. We're still with each other through thick and thin. She is my everything, and I would do anything to protect and always be there for her in her times of need. And that's why I can relate to Legoshi more than anything, because he and I are one and the same. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below, and who's your favorite characters that you can relate to on a spiritual level. I would love to see what you guys have to say. Also, check out my Discord and my gaming channel as well. At any rate, this is Leon Moki, signing out. Later, guys.